Fighter, man. It's like 13 years now that you've been competing at the highest level of the sport, man. Is it crazy to kind of think about that?
Yeah, a little bit. I really think about that, but I fall in love with it every day. 13 years, man, that's a long time staying on it. It's a long time to stay motivated, especially with a career like I've had. Been on a few losing streaks, been up, been down, been top 5 in the world, down to, ranked behind nobodies, and having to fight my way back up and gain like a new level of respect. And, it's a change of the guards. I started in the older days, make me feel older. So now these new school fans and everybody, they don't really know kind of like who I am almost, so it's almost fun to get excited and get back. I feel that hunger again. And yeah, I'm excited for that. I know one thing that I think people don't get a lot of credit for is longevity. And me being in this organization for 13 years, fighting the best of the best for as long as I've done it. And yeah, and I'm still here, still running. And like I said last time, I'm gonna do this for 10 more years if I want.
That's awesome. It's funny you mentioned like the fans, like they might not recognize, but I feel like your fellow fighters and stuff, like they see you, they treat you like the veteran, you know what I mean? And they give you that respect. Is that weird? Because, I mean, you were literally a kid when you came into this, and now you got people kind of treating you as like, hey, show me the ropes. Tell me about what you know. Is that weird for you?
Yeah, no, it's not weird. It's just life. You know what I mean? And that's one thing I've been prepared for and, I'm looking forward to is having experience and being, the older guy and the experienced guy that a lot of these young fighters can come to for advice or if I can help out and just the experience with everything. So it feels great. I'm blessed that I can have the opportunity to show, young fighters different things and different techniques and how to carry themselves and whatnot and just teach them about the business. Because I've been through it all and I've seen it all, and it's all right.
At this point, because like you said, you've been through the ups and the downs and everything. What's fight week like for you? I mean, are there nerves? Are there excitement? Is this just the job, or does it still like feel weird? I mean, what is it like for you each week?
It's funny. I was just talking to my coach Jay Stroud about that, and it's another fight week. It's another week, another day. It's weird, in the earlier stage of my career, as I got excited for this week, so many nerves going. How do I handle this situation? How do I feel? How do I need to be carrying myself? Now it's like just getting out of bed, going to Vegas. Yeah, I got to fly to Vegas tonight. I'm fine. It's cool. Not worried about it. And like I said, fight week has been like the least of my worries now. And I'm just coming in here relaxed, prepared, and, ready to fight this weekend.
Nice. You talk about like the losses that you have, but right now 2-1 in the arguably 3-0 in the last 3.
Yeah. I was about to say you might want to change that. Fuck these judges. It's 3-0.
So there you go. I mean, maybe fighting as good as ever, right? I mean, what do you think the key is? Because I know this game it's a game of inches, right? But you had all those setbacks, but now on essentially a 3-fight win streak.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been more clear-minded lately. I've really took a step outside of myself to see, like, hey, where do I want to be in life? Like, what do I want? Stop taking this UFC for granted because you could lose it in like a second, So get back on your shit, get back on your grind, stay on it. And a lot of things that keep me motivated is seeing guys that I know I'm better than, getting paid, getting big money, getting big fights, guys that I've beaten, getting these big fights, getting all the popularity and all that shit. I don't care about, I just want to be financially stable from this UFC. I'm not leaving until I get what I came here for. Whether that takes me another 5 years, 6, 7 years, whatever, I'm going to stay until I'm done and the job's finished.
Is that a part of maturing a little bit too, right? Because you get those paychecks. I imagine they can go pretty quick. You get a large sum of money in one check, but then you don't get paid for 6 months or whatever.
Yeah.
Is that hard to do to balance that?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, early in my career, those checks went by so quick. They weren't that big, so I didn't really manage them out that time. I wasn't financially smart enough at that time. I was young, getting a lump sum of money. Hey, I want to go enjoy myself, travel, see the world. And I'm glad I did it all. It cost me a lot of money and some time, but at the same time, I enjoyed myself. You can't really pay for those memories, and I got them. So now I'm in a position to where I don't need the fast life anymore. I don't need to go out. I don't need to travel as much. I don't need to do those things as much because I've done them already. Now we can get back to fighting and get back to getting this money. And, hey, 36, about to be 37, and I'm probably the healthiest I've been, You know, the surgeries are cleared up, fresh-minded, clear-minded, no stress, and I'm having fun in life now.
Nice. Let's talk about the matchup you had with Diego. Similar position, I think, right? I mean, he's been ranked, and then he's had some setbacks, and maybe he's flown under the radar a little bit. I mean, what do you think about him as an opponent?
Yeah, I understand exactly what's going on with Diego. You know, being up and down, it's the sport, it's what it is, but he's a true veteran. He's beaten some of the best guys. He's beaten champions before, and he's tough. He's a guy that always comes to fight. And that's what I'm excited for, man. I love guys that come here to fight, that I don't have to chase him around the ring. And he's talented everywhere. He's a great fighter. He's just, like I said, he's at his bad times, you know, his slumps. Everybody goes through them. And unfortunately, he's facing a guy that has been through those slumps, that's not wanting to go back to him. And, yeah, talk about bad timing for him.
At this point in your career, do you prep specifically for somebody? Like, do you be like, well, we got to change this up because it's this guy, or you just go do your thing?
Yeah, not at all, man. At this point, I do my thing now. You know, I watch my fights. I still pick up on the little things that they do, but I'm 110% focused on Michael Johnson. You know, as long as the best Michael Johnson shows up, sharp, focused, ready to fight, I don't give a fuck about their game plan at all. You know, they got to adjust to me and what I do, and, you know, that's what we're going to do on Saturday.
Last thing for me, I mean, you've proven your place in the sport, man. You talked, hey, maybe I'll do it 10 years more, maybe I'll do it 5. Like, what is the end for you? Like, what do you envision as the end? Is it when there's enough money in the bank account that you're comfortable, or is it just when you don't love doing this anymore? Like, when do you know the end is time?
That's a good question. I'm always going to love fighting. You know, always. I started fighting, you know, being a knucklehead and growing up fighting. So that's one thing I love doing. So I think I'll always have the love for that. Always have the love for training and the camaraderie and the guys in the gym. But I still want a world title. You know, I'm thirsty for that world title. I'm thirsty for all that money in the bank. And then, you know, next few years ago, we'll readjust. But, you know, I'm doing great things in Florida. You know, I just got a great job with Douglas Sullivan, selling real estate out in South Florida. So if anybody's watching this and you need some help, I'm your agent right here. I'm your guy. So, yeah, but other than that, that's great, man. Like I said, I'm enjoying it, enjoying training and fighting again, and I feel like I'm a young 23, 24-year-old guy with 13 years of experience in the UFC. It's pretty hard to beat.
Hey, Michael. During the last bare knuckle event, you were saying that you might want to do that in the future. I mean, is that something that, you know, is interesting to you?
It could be, but they'd have to send me those Luke Rocco checks if I'm going to do that shit. And I wouldn't quit, I tell you that. But, you know, they're not bad-mouthing Luke. Luke's a great guy. I just like to, you know, give him shit about that. But I'll do it, but the paycheck's got to be right. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of those guys are making that transition. But my job, I'm fully focused on the UFC. I'm not worried about any of these other promotions or anybody, you know, trying to compete with the UFC. This is my home. This is my job, and I'm here to stay.
During your fight week with Alan Patrick, man, you said you were in a very dark place, and I just wanted to know, like, with other fighters that are, you know, potentially, you know, on a skid and like don't know what they're doing in a dark place, like, how did you get out of that?
I knocked out Alan Patrick. That's how I got out of it. You know, that's what I really needed to do. Focus on myself. You know, get back to winning. Get back to being the Michael Johnson you are, the one that goes in there and fights and people are afraid of. Not so much afraid of, but people are worried about going in the skill. And, yeah, that's what did it. So that fight, got another quick fight, put some money aside, you know, stop living a fast life, and now we're almost out of that dark hole. You know, let me continue this win streak.
I've been asking a lot of the veterans, but, like, if you get one fight back on your entire resume, who would you like a rematch with?
Justin Gaethje, 100%. Like, and I'm cool with Justin. You know, we've trained it. We've, you know, spent some time together. But that's just one fight that was like on my fingertips. Big John stepped in way too soon. I don't know what he was doing, but who wouldn't have wanted to see that fight go another round? You know, I was just in a bad position, and he got me. Hats off to Gaethje. You know, now him and Dustin are about to do their rematch. So, hey, who knows? Maybe one of them falls out, and I can get one of those back.
What are your thoughts on that rematch?
Oh, honestly, my opinion, I'm not really thinking about it. You know, I don't think about either one of those guys. I mean, they're great, but I definitely, if I were to pick a winner, I think Justin's going to get this one. They'll have a trilogy.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
I know you said you don't like to train particularly for opponent, you just do your thing, but how do you keep it fresh in the training room? And are you still able to find new wrinkles to your game being such a veteran? Are you still finding new things about yourself in the training, and how do you keep it fresh?
Yeah, absolutely. Training with the young guys at Killcliff FC, man, we have a good group of young guys that are 23, 22, you know, and these guys can just train and go forever. So me at my age competing with them, if I can keep up with these guys going, you know, crazy, and I'm showing them things and I'm continuing to beat them and I'm learning from them and they're learning from me, and that's just keeping it fresh. You know, I try to learn something new every day and pick it up as it goes on, and yeah. Rest is another important thing that I've been doing. I've rested a lot more now. You know, I'm in a position where I don't need 2-3 hard training sessions. You know, I know how to fight. I've been there. I've cut weight. I've done all that. I just need to make it to the fight healthy and focused.
Probably a lot less hard sparring as well, huh?
No.
Still like the hard sparring?
Still the hard sparring twice a week. That goes on until I'm finished. You know, I think. And people have a different look on it. I'm one guy that, hey, that's the closest thing we're going to do to a fight. You have to train that. Like, I'll take my 2-3 weeks off, and then I'll come back in, like, on a sparring day just to see where I am and what I need to work on and, like, what I need to fix and adjust and this and that. But, yeah, always hard sparring. Yeah.
Jumping out of fighting, you were talking about real estate. What's been some of the funnest parts of real estate and maybe some of the biggest challenges that you had to overcome jumping into real estate?
Just getting used to a whole new world, whole new game. You know, it's a whole different career path. You know, you got to literally learn something else all over again. You know, you got to find the right coaches and the right mentors and this and that. So it's been really tough to get started, to juggle that and fighting. You know, I'm training in the gym, and then I turn around and go sit in the office for, 5 hours, and I have to do a bunch of, like, work and grunt work. You know what I mean? Like, unfortunately, it sucks. Like, you always have to start small and work and, get to that level. And but, like I said, it's just like the fight game almost, you know? Like, I started from the bottom, and now I'm up in the UFC, so I have no time, no problems putting in the work, and having to get there. But it's tough.
Yeah, I'm sure when it gets to closing, I'm sure you just give that UFC stare down and then they just sign all the papers, right?
Yeah, for sure. I'm still waiting on my first big closing. So like I said, if anybody needs some buyers to come in and talk to me, in Florida. So yeah, but we're working. Like I said, I got a great team with the, Sonata team at Douglas Sullivan, and they're, doing it good for me. They're doing well.
Awesome. Last thing for me, you mentioned before you used to spend that money, you had all the fun times, those fast times. So what does downtime look for Michael Johnson now? What does downtime look like for you?
Just relaxing, reading, just spending my own time, like, with myself. It's not really like, that is my downtime. Other than that, I'm always busy working, trying to improve, trying to stay focused and count how many years I really have in this game, and like how long can we go. And I think if I just keep it calm and keep it cool and just fucking work those steps day in, day out, we'll get as far as we can.
Awesome. Best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, for taking the time. You mentioned earlier that you're still thirsty, you're hungry for that title. When you said you don't want to leave with what you came here for, is that what you were alluding to, that belt, that gold around your waist?
Yeah, I would love that belt. That's the reason I got into this game, is to fight the best, beat the best, and become a world champion. I think recently, the last few years, it's kind of, the fight game has made a shift to, it's not that people want to fight the best and beat the best. They want to make the more money, or they want to make the most money, and they want to get these big fights. And yeah, that's fine, but I still want the best. And I think beating the best will get you to that money. It's just now it's almost at a standstill because guys are focused on, oh, well, I want this money, or I want to fight this guy because he has this number of followers, or he's doing this many TikTok videos. And it's like, it's kind of taking the pureness away from the sport. Like, this is a sport where two guys show up and they fight to figure out who's the best, not any of the bullshit that's been going around lately. So it's a thin line between where the sport's going. I hope it kind of changes back.
For sure, and it is kind of nuts to take back, especially I'm sure you've seen a lot in 13 years, and now be like, oh, those exhibition fights mean nothing, and now, bam, it's like a whole other.
Yeah, guys are making $500,000 fucking boxing a YouTube guy. Like, come on now. While I'm fighting and training my ass off for 12 weeks to get the paycheck that I'm getting. So, not complaining. Hats off to them. You know, they did a great job at that, but.
Is there anything or anywhere that you haven't done something with the UFC? Like, any place the Octagon's gone that you're like, man, I should have fought in Japan, or like, oh no, I got a headline in Nebraska. Any that's still on the bucket list?
Yeah, I like to go to Mexico City, fight there if they ever take it back there. You know, I love that. I liked fighting in Brazil. You know, Australia. You can think about it. So Mexico City and Australia, those definitely are my bucket list to fight.
Excellent. And last for me, down the road, you know, you have so much game and your brand and you're expanding. Is something you would do possibly open up a gym, coach full time besides the realtor stuff? Because I mean, 13 years already, you would think so many boys and girls could learn from you, and why squander it away with just like, I'm hanging them up, I'm out? Have you thought that far down the road of like opening a school, gym?
No, and I've never like thought about opening a gym. I don't think the small MMA gyms make enough to even like stay sustainable with it. But you know, we got a great thing going down at Cliff FC. So eventually, later down the road, if I'm looking to hang them up, you know, there's so much work I can do there for our fighters and our young fighters coming up that I don't need to, you know, change camps or go start my own thing. My value is a lot there, and I can have a lot of potential with these guys and helping them and build them and, you know, make sure they don't make the same mistakes I did going up.
That's awesome. Excellent, sir. Well, good to see you. Still on main card, still, you know, kicking off the show, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mike, it's funny. You mentioned the Gaethje fight, and I was thinking back. I'm like, what a hell of a fight that was. I just had to pull up your record. Do you ever reflect on what you've done in your career? I mean, I want to read this to you. Tony Ferguson, Danny Castillo, Miles Jury, Reza Madadi, Joe Lozon, Gleason Tebow, Melvin Guillard. Then it gets crazy. Edson Barbosa, Benil Dariush, Nate Diaz, Dustin Poirier, Habib Nurmagomedov, Justin Gaethje. Those are just consecutive opponents. You could keep going with Darren Elkins, Andre Feely, Artem Lobov, Josh Emmett if you want.
The best of the best,
it's
right?
Insane, man.
Yeah, like where's my credibility for fighting the best of the fucking best for as long as I have? Like, I'm not a guy to sit back and like want like notoriety or all that shit. Like, I don't care. But guys, look at my resume, man. Pay attention to what I've been doing, what I have been doing. Losses or not, like those guys remember the time they fought me. And you can ask those guys, I guarantee it. Name the top 3 or 4 fights you guys remember. I guarantee I'm one of the first or 2 names they'll say. And I'm willing to bet that money. So, like I said, man, I'm here putting another big name on that list, Diego Ferreira. Like, I don't want the guys that look like tomato cans, you know. I want the guys that are beating everybody. I want the guys that look like they can't be beat. You know, that's my challenge. You know, that's why I got into this game. So yeah, it's a great list. We're adding to it.
Michael, if I may, congratulations for this coming week's match. You're in real estate and you have an exceptional way of reading a room. What is your take and how do you read this week's fight?
Yeah, I'm excited. Like I said, I think it's going to be a great fight. Diego's coming in here on a 3-fight losing streak, so he's going to come in hungry. And if he doesn't come in hungry, then that's on his mistake, you know. I don't think people know this, but I was going to fight him on the San Antonio card. I was going to fill in for 3 weeks. He said no, he wanted more time. So I take that as a little, oh, he wants more time to get prepared. But, hey, you give me 7 more weeks to train, like, no, you had your best bet when I was going to take it on 3 weeks' notice when I wasn't doing that much training. Now I'm here with a full camp and I'm ready. So, yeah, I just read that everybody's excited. I'm looking forward to this card, and this could be the biggest card of the fight.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good.